Hi guys, I want to talk to you today about writing territories. I know we've touched on them a little bit in class, but I want to go into depth about what writing territories are, model writing a little bit for you, and then have you go and write your own writing territories. So, as we've talked about in class, writing territories are really lists of stuff to write about. Nancy Atwell says in her chapter, the chapter that you guys read, that writing territories are the list of territories and they represent my self-portrait as a writer. Because I use it as a model for kids to learn from, I try to make it personal, specific, diverse, and unpretentious. Ideas of mine that might generate ideas of theirs. So when you write writing territories, when you want students to write them, it's important that you also write some. So you can do this through a Google Doc like this and a video. You can model it with an overhead projector, with a doc cam, any way you want to do it. Even on the board, you could do it. But I think it's really important that students see you generate some ideas, thinking about ideas. And as you write, you should invite students to write alongside you. So when you're writing your territories, you want to think in terms of stuff that you really and truly want to write about. So don't put stuff up there that you think you should write about or that teachers write about or what you think your students will want you to explore. These should be your own genuine, authentic ideas. You should draft these at the beginning of the year so that students have something to write about in their writing workshop. And you can use these as a place to jumpstart writing throughout the year. So it's something that you can revisit throughout the year if you have a prompt and, or if you don't have a prompt rather, and you want them to write something during writing practice, you can say, okay, go back to your writing territories and choose something from your list and you can write about that. These work alongside reading territories, so we're not going to really explore reading territories since obviously it's a writing class. But reading territories are just lists of books, things, places, people you want to read about. So let's dive right in. I've already started a list here to keep this video from being too long and too boring. I started writing about just stuff that sprang to mind. So it's just sort of a free form way of thinking. My process really was thinking about stuff that I like to do, and then that sort of merged into just stuff that I like about the world in general that I really think would be fun to write about. So I want to write a little bit about hiking in the woods. And again, as I'm saying these things, if it sparks something in you, maybe you jot a note, or maybe you open a Google Doc right now, and you can pause the video, scooch me over to one side, and have your Google Doc on the other side as you compose. We took a skiing trip recently to Wyoming, so I might want to write about skiing. Travel in general, we love to travel. I've been lots of places. There's lots of stories that I have about travel. Cooking, I love to cook. I make beer, believe it or not. Not always successfully, but I do enjoy making beer, so writing about that and about the process and what it's like to be a woman going into the beer supply store. I enjoy watching reality TV with my daughter. She really is into it, and it's just one of these things that I feel guilty about when I'm doing it, kind of voyeuristic, but I still do it. So anyway, just that weird tension that comes with watching reality TV. Dogs, love to write about dogs. Deer, we have a bunch of deer, baby deer with the little spots on their back. I like to write about how sweet they are. And hummingbirds, we have tons of hummingbirds here, and they're so fascinating to me, the way they can dart and move up and down. Moving to Boone, moving from the city, Atlanta, to the country, not really the country, but, moving to a more rural environment. I love music, anything about music, and maybe want to write about my music taste and how it's evolved. Write about my family, my husband. I've got tons of stories about my husband. I'd like to write about the pandemic and how things have changed during the pandemic and my worries about that, and then also the positive things, because there are some positive things. Cars, I have an obsession with cars. I love cars. My kids say that I have car ADD because I'm always changing cars. But anyway, I might want to write about that. Shoes, I know that sounds like so weird, but I was thinking about this the other day and about how footwear really defines what you're doing and where you are, and choosing the right shoes is actually like a huge stress for a lot of people. Gardening and plants might be fun to write about. Transcendentalism, because I love to read the transcendentalists like Thoreau and Emerson. And then maybe something about the beach versus the mountains. I'm from Florida. Originally is where I grew up. So maybe just that, the contrast between the beach and the mountains would be interesting. Other things that I might like to write about are just being a mom, really, is, kind of an important role for me. And I like being a mom, but, there's certain things about it. And being a professor. That's an interesting thing that I would like to explore through writing. Maybe just climate change and our climate in general, and just writing about that, maybe doing a little research. And then even, I was thinking about this the other day, the history of Grandfather Mountain. I would really like to know what the history of that is. Maybe you'd like to write about the history of your hometown or the history of where you are. Other hobbies, running. I love to run, so I could write about running. I've got running, cooking, beer making. Sort of running out of ideas at this point. So anyway, you get the idea. So now it's your chance to make your own list of things that you might want to write about. It can be as long as you like. The longer it is, the better, because then you have more things to choose from. So have fun with your writing territories. Be sure and put your list in your group's writing folder, not your individual student folder. And I can't wait to see what you come up with.